Hey guys, so the Supreme Court of India was in the news again, this time for refusing to legalize same-sex marriages. But before we get into the details, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell if you don't want to miss any of our videos. Okay, so the Supreme Court announced a 3-2 verdict against the legalization of same-sex marriage. The verdict came 10 days after deliberations. The pleas also touched on providing homosexual couples with the same rights that are available to heterosexual married couples, like opening joint bank accounts, medical insurance, inheritance decisions, and issues like adoption and surrogacy. CJI Chandrachud had some interesting statements that differed from the majority of the panel. One such statement was that, according to him, it's incorrect to state that marriage is a static and unchanging institution. When discussing the possibility of queer or unmarried heterosexual couples adopting children, the majority of the panel had voted against it. However, CJI Chandrachud had a different opinion. Here's what he had to say.
The law cannot make an assumption about good and bad parenting based on the sexuality of individuals. Such an assumption perpetuates a stereotype based on sexuality that only heterosexuals are good parents and all other parents are bad parents, which is prohibited by Article 15. This assumption is not different from the assumption that individuals of a certain class or caste or religion are better parents. In view of the above observations, the adoption regulation is violative of Article 15 for discriminating against the queer community. Unmarried couples, including queer couples, can jointly adopt a child. Regulation 5(3) of the adoption regulations is ultra vires the Juvenile Justice Act, Articles 14 and 15. Regulation 5(3) is read down to exclude the word marital. The reference to a couple in Regulation 5 includes both married and unmarried couples as well as queer couples.
So according to CJI, not allowing queer couples or unmarried heterosexual couples to adopt children is a form of discrimination. But is that the truth? Shouldn't adoption laws be ordered towards protecting the child and ensuring what is best for them? If people are allowed to adopt children as single parents, shouldn't homosexual or unmarried heterosexual couples be allowed to adopt? What difference would it make to raising a child? So this brings us to the question, what is the best environment to raise children? Let's look at this in a bit more detail. For thousands of years, families have been the building blocks of society. The strength of the family unit has determined the success or failure of the society at large. Across cultures, religions, and traditions, the most basic family unit has been a father, a mother, and their children. A strong, loving, and faithful marriage provides the long-lasting stability that children need. Marriages require commitment and dedication. While some marriages end in divorce or annulment, the difficulty of the entire separation process usually means that people take a lot of time to seriously consider the consequences of entering into or ending a marriage. For unmarried couples, on the other hand, there is always an out. Since there is nothing binding the couple together, like a legal contract, it makes it much easier for either partner to leave whenever they feel like it. Now, unlike CJI's opinion, marriage is static and unchanging in nature. If you change any of the essential elements, it fails to define the institution of marriage. Marriage is not just a civil union between two people. It is a free, total, faithful, and fruitful union between one man and one woman. Anything other than this cannot constitute a marriage. We've done a detailed video on this. You can check out by using the link in the description below. Now, coming back to the ideal criteria for adoption. Children cannot be raised by just any two people. They have a right to be raised by their parents. The Catechism states that since a child is a gift and not something that a married couple is entitled to, only the child has a genuine right to be the fruit of the conjugal love between the married couple. Even from a secular perspective, the natural order is between a man and a woman. Take any group of tribal people on some remote island who have not been affected by any ideology or religious thoughts. It's natural for children to grow up in homes with their father and mother, and not just with any member of the society that is deemed the most capable or caring. This is why, unless due to some extreme reason like domestic violence, a child is never separated from his or her parents. While there might be more qualified or caring people that are willing to care for the child has a right to be raised by his parents. When this is not possible, like in the case of adopted children, the best case scenario would be to imitate that environment. This is where the essential dynamic between a father and a mother comes in. Every child, regardless of their gender, needs their father and their mother. Boys learn how to be men from their fathers, while girls learn how to be women from their mothers. Boys learn how to treat women based on how they treat their mothers, while girls learn how to interact with men based on their relationship with their fathers. How about in the case of so-called heterosexual relationships where one partner is cisgendered while the other is a trans man who identifies as a woman or trans woman who identifies as a man? No matter how much surgery or hormonal changes they have made to their bodies, they will never be able to experience the gender they identify with as a biological reality. For example, if a man is in a relationship with a trans woman, meaning a biological man who identifies as a woman, and they adopt a girl, the mother in this case will never be able to fully comprehend what goes on in a woman's body, especially during her period or during pregnancy. Children benefit from being raised by healthy, complementary male and female role models. But just being in a heterosexual relationship doesn't automatically make it the best environment for the child. There are many scenarios, behaviors, or relationships that are being normalized by the culture today that would be a terrible environment for raising children. The first such case would be fathers who provide for the financial or material needs of their children but fail to spend time with them or are not actively involved in their upbringing. While the father's primary role is to protect and to provide for his family, this doesn't exclude him from the responsibility of being present or spending quality time with his children. The same goes for mothers who choose their careers over the responsibilities associated with motherhood. The nanny cannot and should not be a substitute father or mother. Children need your time, affection, and attention, not just your money. Another terrible situation we see in the world today are non-monogamous relationships or having children with multiple people. Due to a lack of caution, engaging in various romantic relationships or having multiple partners, women can have children with different fathers and men can have children with several different mothers. Such conditions only add confusion and chaos to a child's life. A child deserves to be raised in a loving home with a father and mother in a committed and faithful relationship. Children learn about love, relationships, and marriage by observing their parents. What kind of idea would children get about romantic relationships and marriage if all they ever see is a revolving door of step-parents or romantic partners? Pope St. John Paul II once said, "As the family goes, so goes the nation, and so goes the whole world in which we live." Strong families form the foundation for strong societies. When the traditional family unit is broken, the social order is threatened and at a risk of collapsing. While there have been unconventional families that have done their best to provide exceptional surroundings to bring up kids, ultimately the ideal environment for nurturing and raising children would be a long-lasting, stable, and secure environment provided by a marriage between a father and a mother who are faithful and committed to love, care, provide, and protect their children. So, what do you think about this? Should the adoption laws change to favor the couples, or should the laws be unbiased and in the best interest of the child? Let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video, let us know by liking and subscribing to our channel. It helps us a lot. Until next time.